This is an explanation of your this equals that assignment. This is going to be a series of 6 diptychs that are going to conform to the principles of a children's book called This Equals That was actually produced by Aperture, the publication house that is geared toward fine art photography. It's a couple of artists who collaborated on this, and they created a series of photographs that relate to one another in 2 ways. So each image, single image, relates to 2 separate images based on different principles. We've been talking a lot about form and content and conceptual versus formal properties of images and how those read. And now I want you to explicitly try to have images communicate with one another. So if you're looking at what we're doing here, this assignment in numbers, and so I've kind of graphed this out, your diptych, you've got 2 images paired. Okay, but what we're going to do is, say for instance your first image relates to image 2, you're then going to have that image 2 relate to 3, image 3 relates to 4, so you can see that image 3 relates to this diptych, number 2, but it's also relating to a separate image, number 4, in diptych number 3. So there's a repetition happening, a repeating of those images. Now, one of the things you'll notice here is that we're doing 6 diptychs, but if you want, you can have this image 7 cycle back, right? So this image 1 and this could be image 1 as well if you wanted, if you could create a full loop. So I'm going to explain, I put a series of images here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to a video of flipping through the entire book, and I'm going to talk through it a little bit so you have an idea of what I'm talking about. All right. So this is the book. It's a square book, and when you open here, it'll take us to a little bit of an introductory text that says, the book is a circle made up of squares. Turn through the pages, consider the pairs. So you have a triangle, right? This kind of shape is repeating, and triangle repeats again in a different equilateral triangle, but with a different object. And then you get teeth, right, that come through, teeth in a blade. Then you've got these lines in a banister, and then the spiral. The spiral also relates to spirals drawn on a map. Then that map as a concept gets repeated, but in a different form. Then the colors are touched upon with this rainbow, and then the sky, the gradation of a sunset. But then that water turns into a lake where there's a person fishing. Okay. And then the fisherman catching fish, displayed at a fish market. Then those stacks, right? Oh, missed this. There we go. Become about stacking or organizing, categorizing. But then stacks in the form of bricks, and so on. So I think you get the idea. I'm going to let the book play out, and then you can determine how you're going to, what you're going to photograph and how you're going to make those relate. My suggestion is to make them relate in as many ways as possible, both formally and conceptually, so through color, line, shape, these kind of basic design principles, but then also content and concept. So that lake turning or pointing to fishermen, right, is a simple one, but a way that those images relate, and not specifically formally, but in terms of content and how we read those images and the meaning of those symbols, right? So the signs and symbols like a water, a lake, turn in or reflect to us fishing, okay?